I suppose one of the things that struck me was that I didn't hear a whole lot about workers' rights, and I noted in your programme and in your presentation that you stressed about a well-functioning internal aviation market being vital, and I totally agree with that. But I'm wondering how you see workers in that. Do you think we can have that without decent working conditions and high social standards? And if you don't think that, well, what are you going to do about it? Because we don't have that situation. And I think for this committee, it is a kind of a priority. I mean, in December 2020, during the COVID crisis, a whole number, 8 member states pushed the Commission to deliver on Air Services Regulation 1008-2008 as a possible legislative path through dealing with these issues. Now, this committee here has been ignored in its request to the committee to get information about where that's at. The French presidency said it was a priority for them a year ago. And for us, we've had a lot of talk and not much being delivered. And I suppose I note that in your draft agenda, you say that at a transport meeting you'll be convening on the 1st of June, that you're going to take a progress report on this revision. Now, we find this really curious because we're in the dark as to what's going on about this. So we'd be really hoping that you might be able to enlighten us a bit. What is the purpose of this progress report? Have you seen any work on this? Because the stakeholders certainly haven't, and this committee hasn't even got a reply to our repeated questions on it. I mean, do you have a timetable from the Commission on the delivery of this regulation, which we don't, for the publication of the review? And can you tell us whether there'll be any legislation for us to work with? Because for the men and women at the coalface of aviation, this is long overdue.
I think we need several approaches. One of them is to work with social norms. That's important for individuals. For example, a driver of a lorry or somebody who works on a ship. Then we need to look at how that works in terms of competitiveness within the EU. When we're pushing for a level playing field for businesses and social conditions for employees, we will be able to get qualified labour to come to those sectors. Looking at the coming proposals, for example, certain driving times for bus drivers and the aviation issues, it is important that we do try and find a balance in these regions, in these areas, so that the specificities of these parts of transport sectors are taken into consideration, and yet we keep the rules for the internal market. Of course, the question of keeping the rules that are then decided is also an issue. I'm convinced that social issues will continue to be important in the transport sector, and those questions that have been raised today, I'm sure, will also be discussed within the Council when the upcoming proposals are put on the table by the Commission.